After back-to-back seasons with no trophies and entering a second season without European football, Manchester City decided to replace Pep Guardiola with the impressive young manager Docs taking over at the Etihad Stadium. The board gave me over £500 million to rebuild the side, reinvest in star players and bring trophies back to the northwest of England. Mission partly accomplished. After winning a domestic double in my first season, our team lifted the Premier League. We got Manchester City back in the Champions League. But after knockouts in the FA Cup and EFL Cup, both in the quarter-final, the board decided it wasn't a good enough return on investment and it was time for me to leave my post after just 1 year. After a few months out of the game, an opportunity arose for me to get back into management and I couldn't turn it down. Inter Milan, the Italian giants, champions of the Serie A in 2021, Coppa Italia winners in 2022, but now struggling mightily. A poor start in the Serie A sees them in 6th place, a third of the way through their Champions League group, and they're yet to get a win. Inter Milan decided to replace Simone Inzaghi, put out a manager job opportunity, and as soon as they asked me if I wanted a job, I simply couldn't say no. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode. This is episode number 50, and man, am I excited for this. Yes, welcome back. It is season 4. We begin today with our third team of the save as I take charge in October with Inter Milan at the San Siro. It's a series of firsts, man. I'd never managed Crystal Palace before. I'd never managed Manchester City before. And the trend continues. I've managed AC Milan a couple of times, but never their shared ground rivals, Inter Milan Internazionale, and I am so excited for this. Yep, series of firsts, and it continues. It is the special thank you episode number 50 today, guys, and I really hope you enjoy how I've done this episode. It's a bit different to how I normally do my career mode episodes. I thought I'd try something different for a special thank you episode. I really hope you enjoy it. With 4 seasons in now, it's been a blast. This will be my final career mode of FIFA 22, and I'm having so much fun now. You know, a series of firsts. It continues. It's been fantastic. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the love on this series so far. And I really hope you enjoyed this special episode number 50 as well. So, joining a new team, Inter Milan. Again, they're in the Champions League right now, but from their first 2 games, no wins on the board thus far. Just 2 draws in their first 2 games. In the Serie A, they got 4 wins in their first 7, yes, but sit in 6th place. It's been a tough start for Inter Milan so far. And when you look at the team here, it is really good. You know, there are some really good star players here. Moise Kean is 87 rated and leading our line. We've got Pau Torres in the back line as well. Matias Nunez, who is so good as we know. It's a good team, but it's old, man. It is old. Samir Handanovic, the skipper, is still here at 40 years old. And then there's, I think, 9 players that are 30 or older. So over a quarter of our side is 30 or older. In modern day football, that is just far too old. So I'm putting tons of players on the transfer list. I'm going to rebuild this Inter Milan side with young talent. I'm so excited for it. The board have given me just over £100 million to work with for when the January transfer window comes around. I'll be getting straight to work in that window as well. And I'm so excited. I think unlike in our first season, well, our only season with Man City, when in the summer window I brought the band back together, I probably will bring back a couple of Inter players, such as Nicolo Barella, who's now at Barcelona, and Alessandro Bastoni, who's currently at Manchester United. But for the most part, I'm going to look for young talent and non-Inter Milan players and build my own identity. With Man City, it was about replacing the players that had left. I think with Inter Milan, yeah, I'll bring back a couple of those players, probably those 2 star players there. But for the most part, I'm going to look for young talent and young Italian talent as well. So for my first game as Inter manager, as as you can tell by the editing now, I'm going to go through the first period of Inter Milan really quickly and get straight to the January window where we can begin our rebuild process in the very next episode. We began with a win against Lazio by a goal to nil. Memphis with the only goal of the game. I noticed he'd been frozen out by Simone Inzaghi. He hadn't played a game for Inter this season. Well, I've restored him to the first 11 and he repaid the faith by scoring the only goal of the game in the 1-0 victory over Sarri's Lazio. And the following match was a big one as well, man. Like, we're away from home in Glasgow, Celtic away. To start the group off, no wins in our first 2 games. My first match in the Champions League. Lord knows I needed to win this one, man. Like, we cannot have Inter Milan failing to get out of this group. Yes, Real Madrid are the favourites. Celtic and Sporting, not easy teams to face, of course. We've got to get through this group. The board have asked me to reach the final in this season taking over, going out in the group. And I might be getting replaced before the season even comes to a close. So had to get our first win in the Champions League, and we would as well. 2-0 win away in Celtic. Moyes ran the show in this game, and my first game in the Champions League ends in a win as well. Keane with an assist and a goal in a 2-1 victory. So there we go, first win on the board, propels us into second place halfway through the group, and I'll take this. Real Madrid still top, but I don't mind qualifying runners up to the Galacticos one bit. After the victory there and back-to-back wins start the season off, we then beat Empoli away from home by 2-1 in a comeback victory. So 3 straight wins, and it was all smiles to be in the campaign of Inter Milan. I was thinking, this is a doddle. How was Simone Inzaghi struggling so mightily, man? Behind the scenes, I was starting to cull and thin out my squad, arranging deals when the January window opens, with Luis Alberto going to Chelsea and Carrasco going to Man City. We had 3 straight wins, we were in control, and I was thinking, we've got Juve next. Based on our form, we'll tear them apart and turn them over. Let's just say it didn't really work out that way. Yep, the old lady coming to town, and when they're visiting here, I thought this could be a statement game for me. In the end, it turned out to be the other way around. I got absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. Respect your elders. Juventus tore me apart. 4-0 victory at the San Siro, and that just goes to show you that overconfidence and arrogance, yeah, sit down, be humble, in the words of Kendrick Lamar. We ain't done nothing yet. So 3 straight wins came to an end in embarrassing fashion. A 4-0 loss to Juve, and I thought, okay, how do we respond from this? Can we pick it up? Well, following game, we're in Florence, heading to Tuscany, Fiorentina. Tough one here, I thought, away from home. I regularly get these guys in the Europa League. Here in the Serie A, though, needed a bounce back after our big defeat to Juve, and we got it. A 2-1 victory. Once again, Memphis and Moyes, the M's up top, M&M, getting us the win. We return to winning ways, and for the first time this season, Inter Milan are in the top 4. Long way to go though, of course. Following game, Wednesday night, the visit of Celtic to the San Siro. Could we get back-to-back wins? Yes, we could. Big 3-0 victory there against the lads from Glasgow. Back-to-back wins against them means we'll guarantee to our better head-to-head record. They're bottom of the group now, no wins in 4, and we go top of the table ahead of Real Madrid. 2 games to go, qualification all but in the bag. Once again, it's all smiles, and I'm thinking, here we go. Let's get a good run of form going, and we'll be able to propel ourselves up the table. Unfortunately, once again, overconfidence proved to be my downfall. First a goalless draw at home to Bologna, and then away against Cagliari, a shock 2-0 defeat. Back-to-back games without a goal, back-to-back games without a win, and just 1 victory in our past 4 in the Serie A. We're in 3 of those 4 games we'd failed to score a goal. I was brought in for my fast-paced, action-packed, attacking brand of football. Well, now it's dropped to 6th place. We've only scored 14 goals in 13 games. Safe to say, I'm already facing a bit of pressure. How do we respond to that? Well, following game, penultimate game of the group stage, Real Madrid at the San Siro, possibly the toughest opponent we could face. Denzel Dumfries is the man who I've given the armband to since coming in, and in this game I moved him into my back 3 to deal with Karim Benzema's threat, and he put in a real captain's performance, shutting down the French striker, one of the best in world football. And at the other end of the pitch, Moise Kean, I think, is going to be my main man in this Inter Milan side. He scored the opener to give us the lead. We went 1-0 up, and the back Dumfries was orchestrating everything in our back 3 centre-halves. And once again, on the other end, we looked clinical when going forward. He started to move off Dumfries, and it was finished by Memphis. M&M, once again, with with a goal each in a 2-0 victory where Dumfries shut down Benzema so badly, he ended up getting forced off. Now that is a good sign of a defensive display when one of the best strikers in the world needs to get subbed off. 2-0 the final score, a win in the bag, and after 3 straight wins in the Champions League, qualification secured and top spot secured due to the head-to-head record, we're going through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. So after that big win there, I thought, okay, let's get back on track here. And for the following game, Sampdoria at the San Siro, a shocking start to the season in terms of goals. Well, this is the sort of football which got me the job. This is the sort of football I need to play more of. Yeah, against Sampdoria, I scored this lovely team goal here as Keane wrapped up a brilliant quick little move on the edge of the Sampdoria box. We were leading by 3, and after Maximin came off the bench to get another, and Keane scored once again. A 5-0 win against Sampdoria, and my biggest win as Inter Milan manager. Back on track in the best way possible. Following that, Salernitana away from home, where Denzel Dumfries, my new captain, the Dutch wing-back, and I can also play centre-half as well, scored the opening goal of the game in his first of the season. Keane then bagged another, and after Unai Venfador made it 3-0, a big win away from home extended our winning run in all competitions to 3. What could go wrong after that, right? Well, how about a trip to Lisbon next? Yep, match day 6 in the Champions League. This game meant absolutely nothing, of course. We'd already guaranteed top spot on the head-to-head record for sure of a game to go. So I fielded a weakened side for this trip here to Portugal, but I still wanted a good performance in the end. Simply put, never really got going. Lost the game by 3-1. Sporting get the victory, and whilst it means for them they guarantee Europa League football, I didn't mind too much because they're already guaranteed top spot. But as had my former team as well. Manchester City making it through, and they're not struggling without me. They're top of the table right now in the Premier League. Erling Haaland's won Player of the Year, and they top their Champions League group as well. Who needs docs, right? Well, heading into our following game, and the penultimate one in this special episode number 50, I thought the Sporting Lisbon game will surely just be a blip, right? Going to Portugal, meaningless game, throw out a backup side. We'll get back to winning ways against Sassuolo at the San Siro, surely. Well, let's just say this couldn't have gone worse. We fell behind very early on, and then Mason Mount, former Chelsea midfielder who's now here at the San Siro, goes down, lands awkwardly after an aerial duel, forced off on the stretcher, and I think everyone in the ground, myself included, knew that was going to be a season ender. Leon Bailey got us back in the game soon after the restart against Sassuolo and fired in our leveller, but once again I just could not stop my visitors coming forward here. The defence was just all over the place, and whilst we've got some class defenders here, Pau Torres, Ginter, Felipe the veteran as well, there's very little cohesion in my back line, I must say, and there's no doubt about it. When this January window comes open, I need to bring in a couple of new centre-halves, no doubt about it. Ginter, I think, and Felipe, both in their 30s, probably going to go. Awful marking for that second goal. Sassuolo run out, easy winners, 2-1 victory at the San Siro. And after Mason Mount's injury was confirmed, a 7-month blow, back-to-back losses, it was the worst possible time for this. The final game before the winter break, and my first ever Derby della Madonnina. AC Milan in the Milan derby at the iconic San Siro, as we would be the away team for this clash. My first ever Milan derby, back-to-back losses, dropping out of the top 4, AC Milan going for the kill, Inter desperate to end the first half of the season, making amends. How would this play out? Stefano Pioli's side started off on the offensive, and we really struggled to get out of the blocks in this first Milan derby of the season. They had the first chance of the game and would have gone in front had it not been for Unai Simone, our Spanish shot stopper. Pobega denied from around 8 yards out, but from the resulting corner he said, alright, I'll take a shot from 20 yards out. And with this one, he finds the back of the net, clips the inside the far post. AC Milan take a deserved lead. We'd stumbled out of the blocks and we were punished for it. AC Milan 1, Inter Milan 0, and the reaction said it all. The question is, can we recover from this early setback and get back in the game, or would AC double the lead? Well, half an hour in, as we are still down by 1, There was a lack of cohesion once again, a lack of marking once again. Corner whipped into the middle, won back by Yannick Carrasco, but shrugged off the ball easily. Danjuma plays a couple of 1-2s with Darwin Núñez. And unlike the hothead he showed last weekend against Crystal Palace, or on Monday night I should say, this time he kept his composure. Darwin Núñez, one of the best young forwards in world football, doubles the lead and puts AC Milan 2 goals up in the derby, half an hour in. We were all over the place. I only really got one chance in the first half, where that fell right before the break. Thomas Muller down the left-hand side, whipping across to the middle, looking for my main man Moyes, but he couldn't get his header goal bound as it nestled way over the bar and went behind. 2-0 at the break. AC in control, and unless I really turn it around in the second half, this was going to be a disappointing first Milan derby and 3 straight losses. The second half began though, and once again, never really got going in this one. Milan still looked like the far superior side, and whilst in the second half they hadn't caused me that many problems, the one chance they got was the one chance they took. Pobega, who ran the show in this game, turned in a lovely orchestrated move. The reaction of Dumfries said it all as the Milan players ran past my skipper. Nothing he could do to stop the goals, nothing we could do to get back in the game. 3-0 down in my first Milan derby. There was a show of resilience 4 minutes to go. I needed something positive, man. I'm not going to lie. I did not want to lose my first Milan derby with no goals and no positives. And I did get one. We got a goal back through the veteran late on Thomas Muller. Really quick counter-attack, and the Bayern Munich legend gave us something to celebrate. Whilst we did peg a goal back on AC Milan, it was far too late for us to mount a serious fight back. Something positive to celebrate, but the 3 points belong to our rivals. Final score, AC Milan 3, Inter Milan 1. And no doubt about it, I now realise what a tough job I've got on my hands. This is a really good Inter Milan side, but it's old, there's a lack of identity, and we don't really have a vision long term. It needs a rebuild, this side, and then some. And right now, this is even harder to see. Man City are top of the table. They're not struggling without me. Crystal Palace are in 4th. My old teams are doing well. And I've struggled to start off with Inter Milan. 5 defeats in my first 13 games in charge. We dropped to 8th place in the table with the lowest scorers in the top 8 with just 24 as well. And I've been asked to win a domestic double and reach the final of the Champions League. Yes, our showing in Europe's been impressive, but domestically, I've got to sort it out. Already drubbings to AC Milan and Juventus. The January window is now about to open. This is our full list of departures I've negotiated. Males to Deportivo Alaves, Felipe to Valencia, Chong to Brighton, Lazaro to Everton, Radu to Leipzig, Luis Alberto to Chelsea, and Carrasco to Man City, joining Munian going to Atletico Madrid. The rebuild has begun. We started to sell our squad. 8 players leave. We raise 155.5 mil. And the board have said, okay, we'll put it right back in the transfer budget. £250 million given to me to rebuild this Inter Milan side. But after slipping to 8th in the table, we got to get to work right now. In the very next episode, January window opens and we begin the rebuild with Inter Milan at the San Siro. And that will end today's episode of the Realistic Summer Career, guys. Big fan you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it, guys. I thought I'd try something different for this one. Go quicker than normal and get through to the January window. I really hope you enjoyed the special thank you episode regardless. If you did, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'm so excited for this real challenge because we're in a hole, man. We are in a mess domestically with Inter Milan, and I'm looking forward to rebuilding the side in the very next episode as the January window will open with £250 million to spend. Have a great day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Realistic Summer Career Mode where the rebuild begins with Inter Milan very soon.